Hey, everybody, welcome to our weekly ecosystem office hours call. I am your host, Jinx, and we are joined, as always, by the best and brightest in the Pocket ecosystem. We are going to kick things off with Gabby this morning since Michael's traveling. Gabby, how about hit us with the updates?
Oh, it's nice to be first. Um, all right, guys. So the big thing I have for today is around the beta testnet incentives. So as I mentioned previously, we've had a lot of interest, and even since I closed registration, I've had numerous people reach out to me. So I guess people love money. Um, and so what I decided to do, we have a small group of participants, so prioritizing the Pocket OGs, of course, and then a few new faces in our ecosystem. We're going to start off with about 20-ish participants, and then we will gradually add more as we learn about the process and the product matures. So with that said, if you are registered, you should have received an email from me today welcoming you to the program. You should also see a channel under the Shannon launch section that says Shannon, beta, and then your respective role. So it could be supplier, gateway, or validator. You should also see a channel underneath that says beta testnet submissions. So that is where, when you complete the quests, you will submit them. And then let me just pull up the document 1 second for everyone to see. Actually, I'll link it to you. That'll be faster. Where is my... Here we go. So this page that I published in Notion is... Okay. This page that I published in Notion is with all of the information regarding, eligibility and participation, what the roles are, most importantly for the quests. As I mentioned, if you just joined, we're not taking new participants at the moment, but we will soon. But yeah, so if you are registered, please have a look here through the quests. You can complete as many as you feel like completing. And then I have an instruction panel here at the bottom that will give you information on how to submit your quests to prove that you did them. And again, that will be done through a ticket in that beta testnet submissions channel on Discord. If you have any questions at all, or if I miss anything, please feel free to reach out to me, DM, or on Discord, wherever. But I'm really excited to see everyone participating. If you run into any technical issues, please report them as well. I do need to know if there's anything that's broken or not working and you can't complete your quest. All right. Oh, and by the way, forgot to mention the most important thing. If you complete all of these quests, you have the opportunity to earn up to 5K in Pocket. So get to work.
Hell yeah. All right, badass. Thanks for that, Gabby. Other foundation updates?
I think I'll hand it over to Saeed to talk about the accelerator.
Beautiful.
Hey, thanks, Gabby, and Happy New Year's, everyone. We've passed 100 applications, and we're going to start sending out interview requests for screening. So watch that on your watch your inboxes for those emails. There'll be a couple rounds of screening. So please bear with us. But going smooth so far, and excited to kick this off in February. That's it on my end. I'll pass it to anyone else on the foundation side.
Hell yeah. Over 100 completed apps on PGAT is pretty damn awesome. And I'll take questions real quick here if we have any questions on either of those two programs.
I'll ask a question. So I guess as far as the applications for the Accelerator program, I guess by use case, what's kind of the percentage breakdown? Are you seeing a lot of new, is this mostly AI interested, I guess, organizations, or what's the primary focus or trends that you're seeing?
A lot of AI, of course, a couple infrastructure plays, um, and yeah, I'd say those two are the core ones that I've seen so far. But I'm gonna do a deep dive and crunch the numbers to get an exact breakdown.
Hell yeah. Any other questions on that? Cool. I am super excited about PGAT and looking forward to seeing the teams who are in contention for that and what the ideas are around it. No surprise that there's a ton of AI in there, given that that's such a hot narrative right now. But hopefully, people will be thinking out of the box in a few different directions. I would personally love to see somebody building a kind of meta query app that allows for a lot of different open data use cases outside of AI. I think there's a lot more open data out there than most people realize. So hopefully we'll see some really killer stuff there. Fred, you want to
So
take it away on? Oh, sorry, Saeed. Go ahead.
one more note. There's a couple of that I've seen, but I'm gonna close applications this Friday. So if you've not gotten your applications in, you've got 2 more days to do so. Because after that, it's going through north of 100 's a lot of work. So please get that in if you. I don't think we're gonna take any late applications at this point. So please get it in the next 2 days.
Fuck yeah.
I'll turn it over to Fred from there.
Perfect. Fred, give us the protocol updates.
All right. Happy 2025, everyone. We Grove kicked off the year on January 2nd. And we've been kicking it off on the Shannon side, really focused on load testing and identifying any bottlenecks that are existing with the protocol. In some of the early load testing, we were able to very quickly, thanks to our superb infrastructure and observability, identify that we have some IO issues and some CPU bottlenecking when working with consensus, but we know what the issue is and we have a plan to attack it. So expect more PRs for that rolling forward to improve the performance. And performance and load testing is really going to be the primary focus for most of January for Shannon. If you're interested, get involved, get testing, and give feedback. Open GitHub issues. I'll move right through onto Path. Let's see what's going on with Path. For as we kick off the year, we're again really focused on load testing and performance, but also adding new features. So we're really focusing in on the observability layer for potential gateway operators, such that they can really have good monitoring and offer solid quality through their gateway. In addition, we are experimenting with the WebSockets feature, a much requested feature. This will be off chain for Path as it goes out, but will be extended to the chain over time, possibly on Morse, but definitely on Shannon. We're also very excited to announce that we had our first gateway adopt Path, and that is Liquify. I don't want to speak for them, but we're very excited to see them come back and see their slice of the pie chart go back to where it was prior to Path when they were on Gateway Server on Pocket Scan. But we've been working with them, and we were able to help work through in this. Work through them onboarding to Path, and this triggered a bunch of improvements on the documentation side for Path. So we're very, very excited about that. So stay tuned for more features, updates, and give it a try if you haven't checked it out yet. And for those who are still on the Gateway server, we're very excited to have you move on over to Path.
Yeah, after all the development, I second that applause. It's been a long path to to get here into what is reasonably our final countdown towards Shannon and the mass deployment of Path as a gateway package. So very, very much, yeah, exactly, long path to Path. Very, very much um, looking forward to seeing all of this launch. It's we're in Q1 now. This is has been a target for us for a long time, and seeing the beta testnet running, seeing PGAT, seeing Path actually get deployed by a production gateway, there's significant movement on the project. So I'm excited. All right. Those are the major updates. Any other updates that we want to run from a gateway perspective or anything else? I see.
I got to.
Yeah, Art,
Cool.
please.
Yeah, of course. It's good. Happy New Year to everyone. So one, regarding F chains. So Fred and I this week are going to go look through the data, at least coming from our gateway, to see how well adopted each chain is. And we've been doing this every couple of weeks. And from there, we're going to make a decision on behalf of the foundation, or at least make a recommendation to them that certain F chains should lose their subsidy, and those funds should be pushed towards new services. We have about 10 other chains that we're looking to launch on the network. And we've talked to some of our bigger traffic providers that have validated that if some of these chains come on, they'll be willing to try them out and send some traffic. Obviously, no guarantees, but it is something that we should be doing, right? We want to increase the market for the blockchain space continuously while PGAT is trying to increase the AI vertical. So we're going to be doing that for F chains. Two, separately, we are working through two deeper deals with Ripple. Can't really talk about them yet. Might take a year, who knows? But we are kind of reached the next stage on both of them yesterday, which is great news for us. And this is obviously coming through Grove, but on behalf of Pocket Network. And they are traffic-based deals, so this would obviously be good for the network, not just a validator deal. Three, for me personally, this quarter actually I could probably get most of it done this month. And Fred is aware of this, but I don't think anyone besides Fred is aware. I've been going down the line of the social protocols and the message transport protocols. So social protocols would be Farcaster and Activity Pub, and message transport would be Tor bridges, Signal proxies, Noster relays, and a few others. And I've been starting to extend them all up on a server. So I've got them, got a few up and running in the last couple of days. And Fred and I kind of, validated that it works. Saeed and I validated it worked as well. So yeah, Saeed was aware of this. And the next step here is to try to connect these within Shannon and Path. So this would be myself or maybe someone else on the team standing up the entire end-to-end experience for Path and Shannon, or our portal, or me setting up a portal-like system on Path, going through Shannon and setting up both a new set of services that are specifically not blockchain related, like they're more on the free speech path. Setting those services up and setting up the nodes and setting up the gateway to see if we can actually send requests for over Shannon for the free speech protocols that I just mentioned. So that is something that is I'm actively working in the background. And the reason I'm able to do this now, it's given the fact that we're getting much closer to being able to do everything in a permissionless manner. I don't have to take engineering resources away from the team that is obviously actively working on the other initiatives that were just talked about. So this is me kind of taking on my role as the head of of a labs organization, having an engineering background. I'm trying to also help drive Pocket forward, just down another route that we might not otherwise have time to do, given all the other priorities that we have.
And that is incredible. I'm super interested to see things like Activity Hub and App Proto and Noster and some of these other communications protocols be more widely adopted and supported by Pocket. I think it's one of the things that really sets Pocket apart from pure commercial RPC providers, is that with this open data approach, it really is far more than just a way to look up ETH balances. And seeing some of this stuff actually get deployed and developed and working for real, and not just theory, is an exciting prospect. So I will be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to get this up and going. It was fun to be able to get a Tor bridge up and running. What's interesting about this is, and this is kind of a pie in the sky idea for me, is a lot of these services can run on a very small what's it called, bare metal instance, or just even a cloud VM, and very cheap, and they can all be co-located on the same box. So something that we could do, assuming we do figure this out and we do get this working on Shannon, is potentially vendor an SDK that does quick installations around all of these as well. So this could be a set of services that could easily be launched or sidecard with everything else that the network is running. So this is some other things that we can do for suppliers on the network. The last update I'll make is I am in the process of also in the evenings uh, expanding our website. I'm just taking it off Webflow, and I'm almost done. It should be done by the end in a week or so, and just expanding Grove's website to show off where we're going rather than what we've been doing. So it'll be kind of in this state where it will it'll currently advertise everything we do, but also have visual indicators of what we are going to be serving. And Pocket Network is obviously still front and center, but you should expect a new website from Grove as well, or rather an updated version in the next couple weeks at the latest, but hopefully next week.
Beautiful. That's a whole lot of new messaging and website stuff coming up this month. I'm a big fan. I do want to roll back just a second, though, and talk a little bit more about what you were talking about with installable packages. Anybody here who is a node runner should be paying attention to that and really should be thinking about that in general. One of the things that made a lot of platforms or a lot of software platforms like WordPress, for instance, so successful is that it was easy to bundle an installer for that service into your basic everyday web hosting panel. And for folks like Quantum Spider, for instance, who have already been running web hosting services for ages, this is an easy thing to add in. Host a Tor node, host a Signal node, host an App Proto or an Activity Hub node. If we can get that kind of level of deployability, then that really opens up Pocket being used by literally tens of millions of much lower level web developers who don't have to have a whole engineering team, but who can figure out how to set up a DigitalOcean droplet and run an installer. And that really makes Pocket as a protocol far more accessible to everyday technologists versus senior infra engineers. That for me is a big deliverable with the vision of the future of Pocket as an everyday utility that's broadly used. I'm amped about that shit. All right. Any other questions or thoughts on all the updates up to here? Saeed, you're breaking up a little bit there. Oh,
Sorry.
oh okay. I was accidental off mute. I just thought the internet was breaking up. Okay. Other questions about any of those updates so far? Sounds like no. All right. Well, in that case, I believe that's all of our scheduled updates for today. Sasquatch, you guys have anything to announce or keep us posted on?
Couldn't find the mute, but no, nothing from here.
Or all right. Well, we will certainly keep an eye out for you. Okay. Well, in that case, the floor is open. So anyone with questions or wanting to hear updates, you can either come off mute and ask them directly, or type them in the sidebar chat, and you've got the crowd to get them answered. Did you just make a sample of my voice for a soundboard thing? I see Jones typing.
I'll give a quick little 30-second update. So, for anybody that follows closely along in the den, the subreddit revamp is going well and is pretty much complete and where we want it. Since the 1st of December, we've added 100 new followers to that social page, and also the meme contest is going. So if you want to go add some words to a stock image and post it on the Reddit page, then you obviously have a chance to earn some POKs. So go over there. Right now, there's only like 4 people who have posted that are actually eligible for winning. So there's plenty of opportunity there. So we would appreciate any participation.
Hell yeah. If you're a memer, don't be a dreamer. Submit to the subreddit. That was lame, but best I could come up with. See more people typing. Anyone here on the call have visibility on Sol liquidity pool progress?
Yeah, I have a quick question for Arthur. First, Happy New Year, everyone. We saw a nice increase in relays these last days, 3 or 4 last days. Just want to know if it's real traffic or it was some testing operating there.
It's a mixture, but yeah, it's a mixture. It's going to be a mixture until Shannon is live.
All right. Any idea how much for real traffic relays there?
No, I don't have, like, at this moment, I'm not really keeping track of it right now. Sometimes it is like 25% artificial. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It just really depends on the players. Keep in mind, a lot of the companies that are using us as a secondary system. So they kind of just blast traffic to us on an as needed basis. Beyond that, no, I'm not really actively looking into this. So the fact that I'm just taking a look to make sure that customers are happy. That's all right now.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been interesting watching the traffic variances and seeing the bursts of traffic and such come through. I on the Solana liquidity pool progress. This is something that I know has been in progress and is being worked on. There are a couple of things at play on Solana network, including how many existing Solana wallets hold Pocket on Solana on there. So if you have some Pocket that's floating around in the and it's bridged across in the W Pocket side, if you want to bridge it over to Solana simply to have additional wallets, that helps. And can help us prep with getting the volume there on the Solana side. I know that there are a couple of big targets over there, but I will let those folks give their updates when they are ready, which they don't seem to be right now. I know that there are some things. We went through this with W Pocket as well, and with Pocket wallets as well early on when it was still fairly new and there weren't that many. A lot of there are requirements out there for different exchanges and such where there need to be a minimum of 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 or whatever unique individual wallets carrying the token itself. So it's clear that there are interested traders and such. So it definitely helps to have even just a little bit of Pocket spread out across the networks when it comes to our total exchange goals. Other questions? Thoughts? Other topics? For anyone who's watching this on YouTube after the fact, if you are up in the den saying, I don't see updates or the team doesn't talk, this is it. All the teams are here on these weekly calls, so get your ass here. Last call. Topics, questions, updates, any other thoughts? F028 doesn't have a relays to tokens multiplier empty entry in the map, so it's falling back to the standard relays to tokens multiplier. Fred?
That's by design. That's by
That's by
design.
design.
Yeah, that's what happens. I think is that Hecla testnet or something. I forgot which one it was.
People coming out with network IDs that I don't recognize. I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny enough when we were Ramiro and I were going through this. I made the same observation, and he said it was through his calculations. This was what it was deduced to be appropriate based on how things were recalculated in December.
Ah, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
shit,
sure as we add new chains, we'll probably have a revisit. Like so, right now, the current approach is, the current approach is just using the cost for hardware. It's not taking traffic into account. It's just like, hey, it's like I think that's why I think Kaya and Solana and one or two others are up there is because they are the most expensive to run. So therefore, the thought process, at least right this moment, is that is the best way for a node runner to mint tokens is based on traffic going to those nodes, which are much more expensive to keep up and running. I don't know if that's like the end all be all, but that is what it is today.
Is there any sense of what the long-term process is going to be around keeping RTTMs updated?
I don't know. It's not like I'm the only one really kind of like actively pushing or have been pushing for this. Where we are right now is assuming, when Fred and I, as mentioned earlier, go through the exercise of launching new chains, I'm sure the values will be updated at that point. But beyond that, I don't know if there's going to be a strategy of let's look at the data again and then let's take into account traffic patterns on top of costs. I think that'll come down to Ramiro. He's, unofficially like kind of the economics person right now.
Yeah.
So it's basically going on his, this is the art of it, right? The science is actually doing the work. The art of it is like, what does it feel like? It would be interesting to get feedback and input from the node runners on what they would want to see. And I'm not saying right now in this forum, just like have the conversation in the F chains or full function chains thread. Just start it and let us know what you think makes sense or what is fair. And we can make the case to PNF, and then PNF can change the values the next time an update is done. But I don't know. See, we'll take a look at the data as well to see what the distribution or adoption of the nodes are, and see if this has been net positive or not from the last RTTM update, 3 weeks ago or so. And then we'll bring that data as well and use that as part of the reasoning of like the next set of updates. And that I think the last chain poll that we did from Grove is public, and we'll make this public as well and show a diff when we do it.
I think it'd be really great, and this is just totally, moonshot daydreaming here, but I think it would be great if we had an automated system that was taking into account some of the QoS metrics and all of the questions and research and testing that's been done around measuring relative QoS and generating a proposed per chain RTTM weekly based on that. something that could be, queued up as a network transaction and approved, through the standard transaction process. But something that's sort of acted as a living, breathing adjustment of the network levers. Tim Riggins says, per the Poctopus Den, when Binance. Beautiful, elegant, timeless. When Binance, indeed. I do know that there is quite a bit of chatter going on with exchanges, DEXs and SEXs, in the with the foundation. But when it comes to centralized exchanges, I don't think much has changed around the fact that they don't want to deal with listing right before a big protocol change. So I don't see anything changing on that front until Shannon is live. At that point, though, given all the other targets being hit, I would certainly love to see some Binance and ideally Coinbase action. That would just make my little heart swell. Breezy's typing in the chat. Is the rebranding plus migrating to a new ticker still an ongoing conversation? So the current movement is a brand refresh, not a true full rebrand. And I don't, as far as I know, there's no thought of moving to a new ticker right now, specifically because of the amount of work involved with it. Satar said, while I suspect that no one is losing sleep over PIP 39, I'll be putting it up for a vote next week. Still waiting to hear from Mike on any feedback. Noted. Breezy said, but we are going to a new chain. How would the work be less? It's not less around the fact that we're migrating to a new chain. That is absolutely the case no matter what. Functionally, the work would be on the marketing side, and operationally working with all of the exchanges to update the existing ticker, updating CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko and all the rest of those things. With the existing ticker, none of that is the case currently. Or And believe me, I was open to the thought and the idea of moving to a new ticker because of the perceived benefits of having a fresh chart. So I definitely get that side of the perspective. But I think right now the most important priority is technical execution and trying to focus a lot of resources on marketing and operational support tasks. Um, when technical execution is the most important part, seems like not enough of a win on the trade-off. I gotta say, I mean, from a yeah, understood, Breezy. I mean, if there was going to be a time to change ticker, then migrating to essentially a fresh blockchain would absolutely be that time. I strongly agree on the concept. I think if this was if the foundation was a larger organization with some dedicated operational teams that could support all of that, that might be a greater conversation. But I think it's just pragmatic to make sure that we're focused on the most important aspects right now, which are a flawless execution of the migration of existing network to the new network. I was talking about this the other day with somebody. It's I've held Ripple and Tron and some of the other 2017 tokens all the way through since then, and a lot of them spent quite a bit of time in the sewers, and that was painful as hell. And those charts still exist and show that. But looking at Ripple and Tron right now, kind of nice, all things considered. There's a clear line of payoff for belief in the project and the work that those projects have done along the way. So agreed strongly in theory, but I think that we're going about this the right way. Other thoughts, questions, compliments to your host? Jinx, the host with the most. I am. That's I, comma, yam. Kojak says, "What will happen to W Pocket after Shannon?" And that's a great question. There isn't really truly a need for W Pocket after Shannon, and I would expect a deprecation with a migration to the native multi-chain pocket, which has ETH and Base and Sol and all that already baked in. That should simply be a matter of bridging and have it done. I would expect that the W Pocket bridge from Pocket's native L1 to ETH would be replaced at some point with an IBC mechanism since it's full Cosmos. That should just allow for a direct bridging using the standard Cosmos mechanisms from the native pocket into the multi-chain pocket without needing to, pass through another network. That being said, I am not, a senior protocol engineer, so the specifics of that might be a little different than what I'm proposing, but W Pocket should be able to eventually be deprecated in favor of true multi-chain. You got it. Any other questions? All right. Well, it looks like we've covered most of what's on everybody's minds and all the updates. So I will see y'all again, same time, same channel next week. And until then, let's moon it.